whispers of giants. In the endless black of space, rumors travel faster than ships. Whispers spread from one trade station to another, from smugglers to merchants, from frightened scouts to bold admirals. The whispers all carried the same strange story. Humanity was building something enormous, something the galaxy could not even imagine. At first, no one believed it. Humanity was still seen as young and weak compared to the 1,000-year empires. They were nothing more than restless children playing with fire. The older species mocked the idea. The Zorath merchants laughed in the markets, saying humans could not even maintain fleets the size of real empires. The Drethi lords boasted that if humans dared to build ships beyond frigates, they would collapse under their own weight. But the whispers did not die. They grew louder. Traders spoke of strange gravitational shifts near human space. Navigation charts began showing unexplained anomalies. Ships passing through the edges of Terran-controlled sectors reported shadows so large they thought they had drifted near rogue planets. Yet when astronomers checked, there were no new planets at all. Something else was there, hiding in silence. The Galactic Council gathered in private chambers to discuss the rumors. Many laughed, brushing it aside as paranoia, but others spoke with unease. If the humans are hiding something, one counselor said, then the balance of power could shatter. Another counselor dismissed it with a wave. Children build toys, not giants. But still, unease lingered in the hall. Meanwhile, in the darker corners of the galaxy, smugglers told their own tales. A crew swore they saw a vast shadow eclipse a star for minutes. It did not move like a drifting rock. It pulsed with hidden lights, as if a machine was breathing in the void. Another freighter claimed to have picked up faint energy. Whispers turned to fear. Some empires began moving fleets closer to Terran borders. Others demanded answers, but the humans gave none. They did not deny it. They did not confirm it. They simply watched, waiting. In the quiet of their own space, humanity worked. Engineers who had been raised on dead worlds, miners who had pulled steel from the hearts of asteroids, soldiers who had sworn never again to see Earth threatened. Together, they built something the galaxy had never seen. The work was hidden in shadows, shielded by gravity wells, masked by advanced cloaking fields. For years, piece by piece, the giants were assembled, but the galaxy only had whispers, and whispers are dangerous. They move faster than light, they grow heavier than truth, they carve fear into the minds of rulers, and sow doubt among soldiers. Empires once certain of their dominance began to wonder. If humans could build ships the size of planets, then what else could they do? The galaxy did not know yet, but it would soon. And when the truth came, it would leave them speechless. The Galactic Council's doubt. The great chamber of the Galactic Council stood high above the shining towers of Artheon Prime. It was the seat of every major empire, a place where decisions shaped the fate of trillions. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Rumors of humanity's hidden giants had reached every ruler, and now no one could ignore them. Counselors argued with raised voices. Some slammed their claws on the table, some hissed through sharp teeth, and some spoke in soft but fearful tones. "These whispers cannot be ignored," shouted a representative of the Varen Dominion. "Scouts have reported anomalies, and one of our fleets vanished without trace near Terran space." Another counselor, from the proud Sykar Empire, waved it aside with mocking laughter. "Vanished," he said, "because your ships are weak. Do not blame humans for your incompetence." His words stirred a wave of anger, but deep inside, even he was not certain. He remembered the shaky recording, the one voice saying, "It is not a planet." The high speaker of the council raised her voice, echoing through the chamber. "We must face this question," she said. "Are the humans building something beyond the size of fleets? Are they crafting giants hidden in shadow?" Her words made the chamber fall silent. For a moment, every leader imagined a ship the size of a planet, moving like a beast through the void. Reports were brought forward, charts of strange gravity shifts, unexplained energy readings, lost patrols, blurred images. Some said it was evidence, others said it was illusion. The council was divided. The old empires laughed in public, but fear gnawed at them in secret. In the hidden corners of the chamber, intelligence officers whispered into their leaders' ears. "Humans have always hidden their true strength," one said. "When they first joined the council, they seemed harmless. Yet within a century they became traitors, colonizers, warriors. Now they may have gone too far." The Drethi lords demanded action. If humans are building giants, they must be stopped before the balance breaks. Their voices echoed like thunder. They called for fleets to surround human space. They called for inspections. They wanted to show power before fear spread further, but others hesitated. The Zark Alliance remembered the last war with humans, a war where small Terran fleets had fought like predators, a war where human tactics had turned defeat into victory. They whispered among themselves, if the rumors are true, if these ships exist, then to challenge them is suicide. And still, humanity remained silent. Their ambassadors attended every meeting with polite smiles. They bowed, they spoke of trade, they offered no threats, boo, and they also offered no answers. When questioned directly, they would say, humanity builds only what it needs. Then they would fall silent, leaving the chamber in unease. This silence became heavier than words. Empires began to move their fleets. Warships slid closer to Terran borders. Scouts vanished into the dark. Propaganda spread across alien networks. Some declared humanity was bluffing. Others screamed that Earth was preparing to conquer. Civilizations split between laughter and fear. In secret, the Council began making plans. Some drew up war strategies. Others considered alliances. All knew one truth. If humanity truly held ships the size of planets, then no empire was safe. But what unsettled them most was not the idea of human warships. It was the idea of human patience. Decades of silence, decades of calm, decades of hiding something vast. Who could wait so long? Who could hold such secrets without pride or warning? Only humans. The High Speaker closed the session with heavy words. We must uncover the truth. For if we wait, it may already be too late. Her voice echoed into the dark halls. Yet as the counselors departed, each knew something deeper. It might already be too late, for beyond their sight, deep in the hidden reaches of Terran space, something vast stirred in silence. Its lights flickered like distant stars, its hull curved like a world of steel, and though the galaxy still called them whispers, the giants were real. The first glimpse, the patrol fleet of the Krith Dominion moved in silence through the edge of human space. Their ships were sleek and armed with heavy cannons. They had been ordered to investigate the strange anomalies. The admirals laughed at the mission. Humans can barely build proper cruisers, they said. We will find nothing but empty rocks. For 3 days, their scanners picked up nothing unusual. Only faint gravity distortions and weak signals. But on the 4th day, everything changed. The lead ship's sensors caught a shadow across the stars. At first, the crew thought it was a drifting asteroid. It blocked the starlight for too long, too wide. The navigator frowned and whispered, "That is no rock." The fleet drew closer. Every scan returned nonsense. The object was massive, larger than their entire formation. It looked curved, metallic, and endless. The commander ordered a visual feed. The crew gasped as the image appeared on the screen. Against the black of space, something emerged. A surface too smooth, too deliberate, stretching beyond sight. "It looks like a planet," one officer muttered. His voice shook. Another whispered, "No, it breathes." For faint lines of light rippled across the surface, as if veins of energy pulsed beneath layers of steel. Then, without warning, the stars themselves seemed to shift. Engines the size of mountains came alive. Blue light flared like newborn suns. The void trembled as the colossal construct moved. It was not drifting, it was rising. The Kryth commander stared in silence. His claws dug into the chair. "By the ancients," he whispered, "it is a ship." The word echoed across the bridge like a curse. The giant stirred slowly, its hull stretching for hundreds of kilometers, maybe thousands. More lights flickered awake across its body, entire cities glowing on its surface. The fleet's scanners went wild, unable to calculate its full size. The numbers were beyond design, beyond logic. Panic spread across the Krith patrol. Some begged to retreat, some stared frozen at the impossible sight. The commander gave the order, "Transmit everything, now." But the transmission froze. The massive structure released a pulse, a wave of energy that jammed every signal. The smaller ships shuddered as if a storm had struck them. The giant turned its vast frame slowly, as though curious. Millions of alien eyes across the fleet felt as if they were being watched, not by humans, not by machines, but by something far greater. The silence pressed into their ears until even breathing felt like betrayal. Then came the sound, a deep vibration through the void, not truly heard but felt in their bones. A voice across the fleet whispered, "Engines." The human warship had awakened fully. The commander screamed for retreat. The patrol ships broke formation, fleeing desperately into the dark. Behind them, the massive shadow remained still, watching, as though letting them go. Its lights burned like suns. Its presence was heavier than entire fleets. When the survivors limped back to their empire, their recordings were shown to the council. Many claimed they were fake, many called them tricks, but the voices of the terrified crew could not be denied. "It is not a planet," one survivor cried. "It is a ship the size of a world." The council chambers fell into silence. For the first time, no one laughed at the whispers, fear across the stars. The council chamber was never silent, not until the day the recording was played. The image of the Krith patrol appeared on the great screens, a fleet of proud warships dwarfed by something so vast it seemed unreal. The Chamber of Empires fell into silence as the giant's lights flickered across the screen, and the terrified voices of the Krith crew echoed, "It is not a planet, it is a ship." Fear spread faster than light. Within days, the story was carried to every corner of the galaxy, to the marketplaces of Artheon Prime, to the frozen colonies of the Psyker, to the desert moons of the Veyron Dominion. Everywhere the same words were whispered. The humans have built ships the size of worlds. The common people trembled. Some thought it was a trick, a piece of false propaganda. But deep inside, they knew the truth. No one had ever seen the Krith speak in fear before. Their empire was ruthless, their admirals cruel, and yet their voices shook like frightened children. Governments scrambled. The Psykar Empire deployed fleets to its border near Aaron space, the Veyron Dominion declared emergency councils. The Drethi lords began stockpiling weapons. Entire sectors prepared for a war that had not even begun, but humanity said nothing. Their diplomats smiled politely. Their traders sold food and technology as always. Their fleets remained calm, never crossing borders, never showing aggression. Yet this silence was heavier than 1,000 threats. It gnawed at the galaxy's rulers. If humans had such power, why did they not flaunt it? Why did they wait in silence? News networks across the empires broadcast endless debates. Scholars claimed the ships were impossible. Military officers shouted that they were real. Prophets declared it was the end of days. On alien streets, children played games pretending to be human admirals, commanding planet-sized ships. Parents tried to laugh, but their laughter was weak. Their eyes carried the same quiet fear. Some empires demanded answers from the humans. They sent envoys and asked direct questions. But the Terran ambassadors only gave one line: humanity builds only what it must. After that, they would smile and remain silent. The galaxy began to turn against itself. Alliances broke. Neighbors accused each other of hiding secrets. Spies flooded into Terran systems, but they vanished without a trace. Whole fleets hovered near human borders, waiting for a sign. Yet the giants never moved. They lingered in the dark like silent watchers. The High Speaker of the Council called an emergency session. Her voice trembled as she spoke. If humanity truly controls such power, then the balance of the galaxy has ended. She looked across the hall at the rows of alien leaders. Many of them looked pale, others were sweating, a few sat in silence. The truth had sunk into their hearts. The humans had done what no one thought possible. But fear is a dangerous thing. Some empires began to whisper of striking first. If humans wait, then they prepare for war. One Drethi lord growled, "We must destroy them before their giants awaken." His words were met with nods from some, and shaking heads from others. The chamber erupted in shouts, war and peace clashing like fire and water. Still, humanity remained calm. Their silence spoke louder than threats. Their patience terrified more than aggression. No empire could guess what the humans were waiting for. Some believed they had only one warship. Others feared there were many hidden in the void. Across the stars, the question grew louder each day. How many giants did the humans truly have? And when would they reveal them? The reveal. For weeks the galaxy held its breath. Fleets hovered at Terran borders. Armies were raised. Spies vanished into silence. Propaganda spread like fire. But humanity said nothing. Their silence was the greatest weapon of all. It made rulers restless. It made soldiers doubt. It made entire empires lose sleep. Then, one morning, every star system heard the same signal. It was not an invasion. It was not a threat. It was a message, broadcast on every channel, carried by every frequency. The voice was calm, human, steady. "This is Earth," the voice said. "You have searched, you have whispered, you have feared. Now see what we have built." Across the galaxy, screens flickered, projectors lit up. The image of a giant filled the void, a ship so large it swallowed suns behind it, its hull stretched into infinity, its surface glowing with the lights of entire cities. It moved with the grace of a predator and the weight of a planet. The council chambers erupted in chaos. Leaders shouted, some in awe, some in rage. But the image did not fade. More giants appeared, one after another, emerging from the dark like worlds breaking free of Shah. A Tao. Some shaped like spheres, some like vast rings, others bristling with cannons larger than mountains. A quiet gasp spread across trillions of screens. Humanity had not built one. They had built many. The human voice returned, steady as stone. "We did not build these ships to conquer. We did not build them to rule. We built them so that no one may ever again threaten the children of Earth. If peace is respected, these ships will never move. If war is forced upon us, then the galaxy will know the strength of our resolve." The words echoed in every language, on every planet, in every empire. There was no threat spoken, yet every word carried the weight of fire. Humanity had shown the galaxy its giants, and in doing so, changed the meaning of power forever. Markets froze, armies hesitated, spies turned pale. On distant worlds, alien children stared at the screens in silence. For the first time, the galaxy saw humanity not as fragile creatures of a death world, but as architects of the impossible. The High Speaker of the Council stood before the projection. Her hands trembled as she whispered, "This changes everything." She was right. The balance of power was gone. The empires who had mocked humans for centuries now stared at them with fear. And behind that fear grew something else. Respect. But respect is never enough. In the darker halls of power, some rulers clenched their fists and swore, "We will not bow to Earth." They began to whisper of alliances, of striking before the giants could move. They did not realize what such a choice would mean. For now, the galaxy trembled in silence. Humanity had spoken. Humanity had revealed its secret. And though their words promised peace, their giants promised something far greater. The breaking point. The galaxy stood divided. Some empires trembled in silence. Others began to whisper of surrender. Yet there were those who refused to bow. Pride blinded them. Rage pushed them forward. The Drethi lords were the first to speak aloud what many had only thought in secret. "Humans are liars," their high commander roared. "These planet ships are illusions, shadows painted with tricks. We will expose their bluff." His words echoed through his empire, stirring warriors who had never known fear. Within days, a fleet was launched, not of scouts but of armadas. Hundreds of warships, bristling with weapons, sailed toward Terran borders. Their admirals broadcast a message across the stars. "Terrans, if your giants are real, show them. If they are lies, we will burn your worlds." The galaxy watched in silence. Billions of eyes turned toward the edge of human space, waiting for the answer. For 3 days, the Drethi fleet advanced, unchallenged. Human ships stayed within their borders, quiet, unmoving. Some began to believe the Drethi were right. Maybe the giants were only illusions after all. But on the 4th day, space itself trembled. A shadow fell across the Drethi fleet. At first, they thought it was a star going dark. But then the light returned, not from stars, but from engines. Engines larger than continents. The giant stirred. A warship the size of a planet moved forward from the void. Its hull glowed with the power of suns. Its cannons stood taller than cities. The Drethi fleet froze. Thousands of voices whispered the same word across comms. Impossible. Then the impossible moved. With one motion, the warship charged its weapons. The first beam cut across the darkness. A single line of light, yet it tore through entire Drethi squadrons as though they were nothing but dust. Explosions lit the void. The Drethi screamed. Hundreds of ships shatter. In seconds, their formations broke like glass. Their commanders shouted for retaliation. Missiles, cannons, and beams rained upon the giant, but it did not flinch. The weapons struck its hull like raindrops against a mountain. Then the warship's voice filled the void. A human voice, calm and steady. "We warned you," it said. "We did not build these ships to fight, but you leave us no choice." The words reached every ship, every comm channel, every terrified soldier. The Drethi fleet tried to retreat, but the giant moved again. Its engines pulled at space itself, bending gravity. Whole warships were dragged into its fire. In moments, the once proud armada was nothing but debris, silence, and scattered survivors fleeing into the dark. The galaxy watched in horror. The footage spread across every world. Entire civilizations sat in stunned silence. The Drethi lords had been broken in a single encounter. An empire that once boasted invincibility had been erased by one human warship. In the council chambers, no one spoke. Their fear had now turned to something else. They realized the truth. Humanity had not shown its full strength. The giant that destroyed the Drethi was only one ship. If one warship could erase an empire's fleet, then what could an entire fleet of giants do? Across the stars, rulers bowed their heads, soldiers whispered in dread, children stared at the skies above their worlds, wondering if one day a giant would appear there too. Humanity had proven its power, and the galaxy could no longer deny it. But deep in the silence of Terran space, more shadows stirred, giants still waiting, giants still hidden. Humanity had revealed only enough to teach one lesson, a lesson the galaxy would never forget. Silence and respect. The ashes of the Drethi fleet still drifted in the void when the galaxy fell into silence. No empire sent fleets, no scouts dared to cross Terran borders. Even the loudest voices of pride and arrogance had grown quiet. For the first time in centuries, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The recordings of the battle spread faster than light. Billions of beings across 1,000 worlds watched as one human warship erased an empire's might in minutes. Soldiers who once mocked humanity now stared at the screens with wide eyes. Admirals who once laughed at Terran ships now sat in silence, hands trembling. The council gathered again, but this time there was no shouting, no mocking, no arrogance. The high speaker rose and said only one line: "The galaxy has changed." Her words echoed in the chamber like a prophecy. For every ruler there knew it was true. The balance of power was broken forever. But humanity did not gloat. Their ambassadors did not demand tribute. They did not threaten. They simply repeated the same words spoken before. "We did not build to conquer. We built so that no one may conquer us." This humility unsettled the galaxy even more than pride would have, for arrogance can be predicted, but patience cannot. The giants remained hidden in the dark, silent guardians, waiting. Humanity did not need to show more, because the galaxy now believed, on distant worlds, alien children asked their parents why humans were different. Parents spoke of Earth, a world of storms, fire, ice, and death, a world where fragile creatures had been forced to survive. And in that survival, they had learned one truth. Never again would they allow themselves to be prey. The Drethi lords who survived went into exile, their empire shattered. Other rulers whispered in secret halls, some feared, some respected, but none could deny humanity had rise, and to a place no one else had ever reached. In the years that followed, trade routes shifted, treaties changed, armies that once prepared for war now prepared for peace. For no empire wished to awaken the wrath of giants. Humanity had become the silent guardian of balance. Their very existence kept the galaxy from tearing itself apart, and yet, in every council meeting, in every shadowed throne room, one question remained. How many of these giants are there? The humans never answered. They smiled, they bowed, and they left the question hanging in the air like thunder before a storm. The galaxy learned to live with the silence, to live with the fear, to live with the respect. Every empire knew that hidden in the dark were ships so large they could crush entire civilizations. Yet they also knew those ships would remain still as long as peace endured. Thus humanity became not just another empire, but a legend. The Deathworlders who had turned whispers into truth, the builders of giants who had left the galaxy speechless, and in the endless black of space where countless stars burned, all who looked into the dark now carried the same thought: the humans are watching.